Okay, I have a major announcement to make, and that is that I have made Jesus Christ my co-president and vice president. Let me go ahead and read you my cabinet. There's a lot of fake news out there, so let me go ahead and read you who's in my cabinet. I have been the U.S. Empress since 2014, and I have been the U.S. President actually since 2016, because I'm the one who got Donald Trump into office. We thought he was dead at the time, and I ran in his place, and I said anybody who votes for Trump is voting for me. But when we found him in our final battle with Angelina Ballerina, then I allowed him to get the president job, and I kind of took the back seat. But the last election we had in 2020 was totally taken over by Satan and Lori McBride Jesuits. Lori has come to our side, and so I decided to assert myself as president. And I was running also in the 2020 election, and I won with a landslide. Anyways, let me tell you who is in my cabinet, so that those of you who are not watching Gabriel Chana Fox News and are watching all the fake news out there, you have no idea what's really going on. So let me just go ahead and read you who's in my cabinet right now. Okay, the co-president and vice president, Jesus Christ, the deity, the Son of God the Father. The vice president, two people, Brent Spiner and Jesus Christ. Secretary of State, Rand Paul. Okay, Director of Communications, Vladimir Putin. Secretaries of Health and Human Services, Bernie Sanders and Gerard Butler, MD. Dual Healthcare Administrators, Haruo Ozaki and Hidemichi Sato. National Healthcare Plan Research Director, Judy Mikovich. Secretary of Treasury, Ron Paul. Secretary of Education, Lila Sentner. To get information on all these people, just go to the link underneath this video, which is my U.S. President page, and it talks about the cabinet, and you can get information about these people and why I've chosen them and so forth. Secretary of Labor, Stephanie Kelton, and I have a mix of Democrats and Republicans. I am my own person. I don't really belong to any. I belong to the Gabriel Chana Independent Political Party. Secretary of Commerce, Jo Jorgensen. She's a libertarian. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Ben Carson. Press Secretaries, Tucker Carlson and Kanye West. Office of Management and Budget, Jesse Ventura. Trade Representative, Vladimir Putin. The EPA Director and the Secretary of the Interior is Bill Nye. Attorney General, Bob Barr, not Bill Barr, Bob Barr. Bob Barr is a libertarian Republican. I have an ATF director who is pro-gun rights, and his name is Alan M. Gottlieb. Secretary of Defense, and this is position, he's been in this position for about a year and a half, Vladimir Putin. Deputy Secretary of Defense, Sergei Shoigu. So don't believe the reason you're hearing all this fake news about Vladimir attacking Ukraine is because Satan and the current Jesuits, and I believe the current Jesuit leader is the Brent Spiner clone, are trying to make it appear that I am not the president and I'm just this crazy lady, okay? So they're creating all this fake news about Ukraine, trying to make it look like there's a big war going on over there, and nothing like, he's my Secretary of Defense. So the joke's on you if you believe all that crap. Okay, Joint Secretaries of Medica Space Fleet, Rule 13 and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Prisons Administrator Adolf Hitler, resurrected from hell by Satan and allowed to stay on earth by Jesus. Secretary of Energy, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Joint Secretary of Medica Space Fleet, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Administrator of the Small Business Administration, Rostislav Sabolka. He's kind of an unknown that I discovered, but I like a lot of his socialist views. I'm kind of like a blend between a Democrat and a socialist. And unfortunately, there is a Rostislav Cebulka clone who has totally taken over his online presence, including his YouTube channel. So if you want to get the information about the real Rostislav, you'll need to go to my website or Gabriel Chana Fox News at 00 on cable. Secretary of the Interior, John Echohawk and Bill Nye. I have a lot of positions where it's filled by two people. And that's because, you know, the world is very complicated now. And sometimes we just I need a huge cabinet to deal with all the problems that Satan and the Jesuits are creating. Joint Directors of the CIA, Brian Dean Wright and Clock. Director of National Intelligence, Alexander Bortnikov. Acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Dan Bongino. Secretary of Immigration, Donald Trump. Secretary of Transportation, Elaine Chao. Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny Perdue. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Donald Trump. Chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. I have a dual, I've got Stephanie Kelton and Vladimir Putin in that job. Vladimir actually has a PhD in economics, folks. Yeah, he's not too dumb about that stuff. National Security Advisor, Zach Knight, the ex-Antichrist. Marriage Laws Administrator, Joshua J. Joshua, one of my very loyal Patreon supporters. And Jesus was actually making love to him last week. Go to my website to read all the goodies on that. Big Tech Administrator, Zach Knight. Yeah, we've had to take over a lot of the big tech because Satan's got he has real control there, and that's why we're losing a lot of our freedom of speech. Worldwide Internet Manager, Vladimir Putin. You might say, it sure doesn't seem like he's in charge. Well, the problem is that Satan invented the computer and the internet, so you know, trying to wrest all this away from Satan's control is quite the job, okay? Genetic Code Voting Administrator, Judge Terrence Jenkins. Yes, voting is not, to vote in our elections right now under my conspiracy law, we do not use the traditional voting methods. We do allow online voting. Just go to my website and do a search on Genetic Code Voting Administrator or Judge Terrence Jenkins, and you can read about my laws there. Deputy Secretaries of Interdimensional Warfare, Michio Kaku and Clock. Research Secretaries of Defense, Terrence Towle and Judge Terrence Jenkins. I've got some very smart people in my cabinet because, you know, we're up against Satan and the Jesuits. Deputy Research Secretaries of Defense, Martin Karplus, R.E.A. Warshell, and Dr. Bill Van Bon. Deputy Big Tech Administrators, Linus Torvalds and Mike Roderick. Like I say, go to my website, check the link underneath this page. Acting Head of State, United Kingdom and Ireland. This is my, these are our League of Conspiracy Law honoring nations around the world. I've had to set up heads of state in other countries so that we can have an effective alliance. Acting Head of State, United Kingdom and Ireland, Gerard Butler, MD. Acting Head of State, Canada, Keanu Reeves. You might say, oh, it doesn't sound like it. You need to go to Gabriel Chana Fox News. Acting Head of State, Australia, Hugh Jackman. Acting Governor of Texas, Matthew McConaughey, the real Matthew McConaughey, not the clone. German Chancellor, Vladimir Putin. German President, Adolf Hitler. German Health Minister, Rainer Fuhlmich. Go to my website to learn about these people. Acting Governor of California, Larry Elder. Acting Governor of New York, Rudy Giuliani. Acting Governor of Massachusetts, Bernie Sanders. I'm a blend between, my views are not Republican or Democrat, they're a blend. Okay, I'm my own person. Acting Prime Ministers of Israel, Vladimir Zelenko, MD, and Jesus Christ. Acting President of Israel, King David of Israel. Yeah, I asked Jesus to resurrect King David and make him the acting president of Israel. And this is to help Vladimir Zelenko and Jesus to be accepted as the Israeli leaders, because they have a lot of respect for my ancestor, King David. I'm literally half King David, by the way. Israeli Knesset Speaker and Chief Advisor and true Israeli leader, Jesus Christ. Acting Head of State of China, Hu Jintao. He used to be on my marriage list. Okay, the reason I'm mentioning all these people that are on my, in my cabinet is because And the reason that I felt that I had to put Jesus Christ as co-president is because I can, now that Lori McBride has come over to our side, I've noticed the Brent Spiner clone hasn't come to our side. And I've been having a lot of suspicious car trouble lately. My brake lights were coming on for about a month, and I asked Brent about it, and he told me not to worry about it, that as far as he knew, everything in the car was fine, that it just appeared to be a malfunction in the brake light indicator system. And when I checked the brake fluid reservoir, I should have cleaned the outside of it, but it looked like it was at normal levels, so it might be partly my fault that the men at Church of Gail believed the brakes were fine, but it makes me wonder why the Church of Gail mechanic. Let me tell you what's really weird. About a week ago, when I got in the car and I tried to hit on the brakes, they went all the way down to the floor with no resistance at all. And I could tell that car was not safe to drive. So I told Zach Knight, I said, I am not going to drive that car. I probably need to take it to a mechanic and have the brakes looked at. There is definitely something seriously wrong with the brakes. The car did great. I had a mechanic in Florida look it over, and it did great on the trip up here to Alabama, where I currently live. It started falling apart once I got here. So it appears to me that Satan is, he's already adapting to the fact that I no longer live in Florida, and he's not going to be able to make me homeless, which is what he wanted to do for me in Florida. So now he thinks the way to defeat me is to oust me as U.S. president. Okay? And he's noticed my cabinet. The vice president job is the way that he's planning on doing it. He tried to do it with Tulsi Gabbard. Okay? With Tulsi Gabbard, I made her vice president because I agreed with a lot of her positions. Like I told you, I'm a blend. And she betrayed me and tried to use the 25th Amendment to have me ousted and to claim that I was not, that I couldn't be president because I was like on a power trip. And and then Brent Spiner actually took her out. Yeah, right now the Tulsi that you are seeing in the news media and online is a good Tulsi Gabbard automaton or automaton. So yeah, we unfortunately, and I already made a YouTube video about this, we had to take her out because she was trying to oust me and take my job. And I personally believe that because of her Hindu beliefs, that Satan approached her and said, well, I'm a Hindu too, I'm the founder of Hinduism, which may be true, sort of, I'm not sure, but because Satan is a New Ager. He's kind of like the founder of the New Age movement, so that could be true. And I think he promised her the presidency if she would do as he required, and he probably instructed Tulsi to use the 25th Amendment. Which would have been, and I basically had to retake my position with military. Yeah. I had to, I forget the word they use, but it worked. Yeah, if you've got the military behind you, it's kind of hard to take over the president. So that's why Satan's been working so hard trying to destroy my military. And yeah, if you go to my website, you can see all the posts that I've made about that. All the attempts he's made to make them all sick with the death shot. and yeah, and then but once Lori McBride came to our side, Satan realized his last straw to maintain control was to try to again use the 25th Amendment. You might say, and I picked Brent Spiner for vice president because I felt like that was the only person I could trust in that job who wouldn't try to do a repeat of what Tulsi Gabbard tried to do. So Satan thinks he knows how he's going to work around this. This is what I believe Satan is up to. And I've got a very high emotional IQ. It's around near 10,000 right now, including my regular IQ. Okay, so I find it very interesting that our Church of Gail mechanic was wrong about my car. You know, I'm in hilly country here, and the brakes, if they don't work and I'm out there driving, I could be killed or I could get seriously injured, and that in and of itself could make me disqualified from the presidency, which I think was Satan's goal. He was hoping to use my car to get me in a deadly or serious car accident and make me disqualified for the U.S. presidency. And then, at the same time, I believe he was planning on kidnapping the real Brent Spiner, who's my vice president, and replacing him with the Jesuit clone. And then he would have gone on the news and maybe even taken over Gabriel Chan of Fox News. I think that's what was in the works. Fortunately, I saw through this before. First of all, I'm not going to be driving that car until those brakes feel fine. I think the solution is, I did check and I noticed the brake fluid level is low. And I think if I just add brake fluid to the car, it'll be fine. But I won't even do that until I get permission from my men to go buy brake fluid. Right now we've been looking at mechanics, but we want to make sure we can get a mechanic we can trust. There was something wrong with the Church of Gail mechanic that he was instructing Brent to tell me that the brakes were fine when they were not. Because believe me, when I pressed down on the brakes and telling me to ignore the brake warning light, other things were going wrong in my car too, so it appears like the car is being secretly sabotaged. Yeah, it's just like it's just falling apart all of a sudden. So this mechanic, somebody was talking to me brain to brain, and I thought it was Brent, but it might have been Jesus, telling me that the mechanic that Satan's found the mechanic's price. And he is being bribed to injure me using my car so that they can take me out as president for reasons I've already discussed. To try to... the good news is that I don't need the car. Where I currently live, I can get all my needs met without a car. So I won't be driving that car until it's safe for me to drive it. And I'm not going to take it to a mechanic, because if I take it to a Jesuit mechanic, I'm not going to do anything with it till Brent and Zach tell me it's okay to do something with the car. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to be doing without a car. But I'm not in danger of... I have groceries for several weeks. Everything that I need to get is within walking distance, even food, or I could have delivery set up. So I'm in a position where I do not need the car, actually. There are certain parts of the world where you don't have to have a car to survive, and I'm in a situation right now where I don't need the car. Right now, I'm encouraging people not to send stuff to my P.O. box, because the P.O. box that I have is very far away, and I would need the car to get out there. If you've already sent it, then I'll just have to wait till I get my car to go out there. But everything else I can get without a car. And I can still be president. So, yeah, I'm not going to risk getting myself in a serious accident, and maybe other people, by driving a car with bad brakes. Okay? So, but if I don't hear from my men within about 10 days, then I'm just going to walk to a nearby store, buy some brake fluid, and put it in the car and see if that works. Yeah, the brake fluid level is very low. When I checked, because the canister was so dirty, I couldn't tell how low it was, but it's very low. So that appears to be the problem. I also had a problem with my windshield washer. It wouldn't squirt, though the wipers work. And I went and bought washer fluid, and that didn't solve the problem. So that's probably some sort of a mechanical problem. So yeah, my car, it appears, is being sabotaged, and the Church of Gail mechanic appears to be in on it. So somebody was communicating with me brain to brain and saying the mechanic that they found his price. And I thought, well, what are they trying to do by getting me in an accident in my car? and damaging my car. I mean, what? Like, I don't get it. And either Jesus or Brent was telling me they're hoping to get you seriously injured so that you can't be the president. And then that's how Jesus thinks he's going to defeat you. Not Jesus, I mean Satan. So that's what I think. That's why I've made Jesus Christ my co-president. And he is my roommate, so he lives in Alabama. I've given him honorary U.S. citizenship. So this means that, let's say something happens to me and Brent gets kidnapped and the Brent Spiner clone tries to take over the United States. I've got your butt covered, United States. Jesus Christ is my co-president. He's next in line to succeed me if anything happens to me. And good luck trying to take him out. Yeah, good luck. Yeah. Right now I'm hearing that they're saying, you can't make him the president. He doesn't live in the United States. He's not a U.S. citizen. He's my roommate. That means he lives in Alabama. Alabama is part of the United States, folks. And I'm giving him honorary U.S. citizenship. So he's my co-president and vice president. Now, if the Brent Spiner clone kidnaps Brent Spiner and claims he's the real Brent, and therefore he's going to use the 25th Amendment to try to remove me, Jesus won't let him now. What he'll probably do, I'm hearing brain to brain, that they're getting so desperate now, they're trying to divorce Alabama from the Union, saying anybody who's from Alabama can't be the president because that is a racist state. That isn't going to work. They're trying all sorts of crazy stuff. And they're saying, well, Jesus can't be the U.S. president because he lives in heaven. He's moved, folks. He no longer lives in heaven. He's my roommate. He lives right here. Hi, Jesus. I bet you're right here right now. I don't see him, but he's here. In fact, my landlord has actually gone on Gabriel Chon of Fox News and talked about what an honor it is to have Jesus Christ living here. You might say, he's not on your lease. You know, Jesus doesn't need to be on the lease. He exists here in his higher dimensional form where it's like, I don't see him, but he's here, you know. You might say, well, if he's not on your lease, he's not here. I think he's secretly on the lease. In fact, my apartment might be giving him free rent. So we have a bunch of Bible-believing Christians at this place where I live. I love it here for that reason. I love being in a Bible Belt state. Yeah. So, yeah, man. Yeah, Jesus. So if you're going to try to pull that dirty trick on me using a Brent Spiner clone 25th Amendment garbage like you tried to do with Tulsi Gabbard, Satan, you're not going to be able to do it because Jesus Christ is my co-president. Okay? Yeah, and I'm not going to be driving that car until it's safe either. And I'm not going to take it to a mechanic until we can trust the mechanic. It's very possible that once I put the brake fluid in there, the car may be fine. It's really low on brake fluid. I noticed that. I mean, we never really gave it a thorough check after that long trip from Florida to here. And there are a lot of hills in this area, so yeah, it probably just used up all, probably just needs brake fluid. That might fix it. But I can kind of tell when I push on the brakes if they're okay. Yeah. And if I see the brake light warning indicator light coming on, I know I'm not going to be driving that car now. I've learned to respect that warning indicator. So yeah, fortunately, when the brakes really acted up, it was in my apartment's parking lot, so it's safe right where it is. I've got the emergency brake on there holding it, so yeah, it's yeah, Jesus is going to take care of me. Like I said, I've got food, I've got money, I got a place to live, a place to sleep. I'm in good health because I'm doing all the Gail commandments to the best of my ability. And yeah, man, yeah, Jesus Christ is my co-president and vice president. He's got a higher position than Brent now. So you say, but he can't be the president. You know what? When they voted for you, when they voted for me, Tulsi Gabbard was my vice president, and we had to take her out because she was trying to usurp me. And I can tell they're going to try to do the same thing with Brent Spiner, using a Brent Spiner clone, because a lot of people listen to fake news. So yeah, right now it appears that all the clones of all the famous men that are in my cabinet have gotten together, and they're going to try to kick me out as president so that they can rule. Yeah, that's what I think is going on. I think they're all the Jesuit leaders right now, like the Matthew McConaughey, because all of the top men on my ex-marriage list are in my cabinet. So Satan thinks he's going to defeat me by destroying my cabinet and taking it over and making me look like the crazy lady. But with Jesus Christ as co-president, good luck, Satan. Anyways, go ahead and I got to go get my laundry and stuff. But go ahead and try, Satan. Go ahead and try. I got you checkmated, Satan. Yeah. And don't believe the fake news, okay? Go to 00 on cable or go to my website. But yeah, you might say, Jesus Christ, he lives in heaven. No, he doesn't. He moved. He moved. You know, I always believed that Jesus would use me to start a type of his millennial reign on earth right before the rapture. And I think that's exactly what's happening. During the millennium, he's going to be the ruler over the whole earth. And I find it interesting that Ezekiel chapter 17 talks about eagles. And yeah, go to my website and check my post on that. Yeah. I think Babylon the Great is a type of the United States. Yeah. Or the United States is a type of Babylon the Great. And I think the United States may play a significant role with, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how I'm going to play this all out. It's possible the United States could be part of the Babylon the Great system that's going to be set up in the future tribulation. Anyways, go to my website to check out the latest. Jesus Christ. Welcome to my cabinet. Well, he's already in my cabinet. I've made him head of Israel, but now he's head of the United States, along with me, co-president. And I've told Jesus he can override me whenever he wants. I hear, brain to brain, he's been making a lot of amendments to my conspiracy law, which he's perfectly allowed to do. Who better to run this country than Jesus? You can't beat him for a leader, right? He's the best. So, good luck trying to usurp me as president now with my co-president, Jesus Christ. He'll make sure you don't do it, Satan. Yeah, and you clones out there, you Matthew McConaughey, Brent Spiner clone, I mean, come on, get off your high horse. You know you stole the identity of the real people that you impersonate. And you need to humble yourself and come to Jesus and serve him like Laurie McBride's doing. There's nothing more important in life than honoring true love. It's not as important as your filthy rich bank accounts, which you're stuffing by keeping people sick and making money off of death shots and now orchestrating now they're going to try to make everybody poor by artificially inflating the gas prices by getting everybody all hyped up. They're going to try to blame Russia for what they've done with the death shots, you know. Yeah. Get everybody all distracted. Like I said, just go ahead and go to my website to find out the real news, okay? Yeah. Go to my website, GabrielChana.blog. Yeah, Jesus Christ is co-president of the United States and vice president, which means nobody's going to be able to use, only Jesus could use the 25th Amendment to take me out now. Yeah, I'm not going to let Satan, I'm not going to make it easy for Satan to do this. No way, Satan, you've been getting away with too much.